Don't bother you anymore. Fine, I won't. I used to live in an apartment building that had shops on the main level. The building next door was the same. The two buildings shared a wall. My building had assigned parking and yellow paper notes to put in our car windows. A restaurant opened up in the building next door. Their owner, manager, and staff began parking in my spot, as well as our neighbors. I spoke to the owner, and she said she would talk to them again, but didn't think it would help. They were even parking in her spot. Every night, I would get home, call them, and ask that the vehicle be moved. I was getting tired of this, when one night they put the manager on, because they were busy and didn't have time to deal with my request. He did do it, but told me they wouldn't do it again, and I was to stop calling them. I suggested they stop parking in my assigned spot. He told me he had too many staff to control where they parked, and he was sure they were not parking in my spot, and it was probably a customer. You know, because customers always park behind a business and then walk around to the front to get in. The next time I worked evening shifts, I got home, and this time there was a Range Rover parked in my spot. I dutifully called the tow truck and not the restaurant. I had to wait for a second tow truck, because the first one was not equipped to move a vehicle of that type. Something about being jacked up and stuff. They explained it, and the wait was because I didn't know enough to be able to answer their questions about the truck, so they could send out the right truck first. They towed it, and I went in and went to bed. A few hours later I was awakened by a phone call from the towing company. I had towed the owner, and he was telling them that it was his parking spot, and that I had no right to tow him. They were going to bill me for the tow. I told the caller about my landlord's parking permits, the numerous phone calls to have them move, about being told not to bother them anymore, and that his restaurant was in the next building with a separate parking lot. We said goodbye and I never heard anything more about it. I also was able to park in my spot after. I told my neighbor and he told me just to be safe, I should tell the owner of the other building. I popped into her shop and told her. She replied with something to the effect of, "You towed the Range Rover." I said yes. She started to laugh and basically said, "Good for you," and told me it was the restaurant owner's truck. Still makes me smile when I think of it. LOL, oh my god. I love it OP. He said not to bother him or the team anymore about the parking spaces, and you did, you took care of the matter on your own, LOL. And what a jerk, he tried to put the blame on the customers, when he was the one parking in your space. Idiot. Good one OP. Nicely done.